In the realm of smartwatches, there is a watch that attempts to stand out. A timepiece striving to set itself apart by infusing an essential sense of refinement into its design. Yet in this modern-day perennial debate between form and function, does this lingering pursuit of aesthetics necessitate a compromise on practicality? Hey everyone, this is Siddharth Okrani and this is my review of the Pixel Watch 2. The design of the watch looks very soothing to the eye. The way the display glass melts in with the aluminum frame adds a much needed class in a slimmer form factor, especially with the right set of bands. It also makes it quite easy to slide the watch in and out from sleeved clothing. There's only one size option available at 41mm and it fits nicely on my skinny 6-inch wrist. However, it is worth noting that this size might not be universally suitable for all wrist types. In the box, Google provides a medium-sized silicone band alongside a larger option to fit varied wrist sizes. But if you can splurge a bit more, I'd suggest looking at their website or the ever-growing realm of aftermarket bands available for different style options. I personally have been using this stainless steel watch band when outdoors, and suffice to say, it has a level of sophistication that complements the overall watch design. And while indoors, the fabric band makes me sometimes forget that I even have a watch on my wrist. The links to all the bands mentioned, by the way, can be found in the description. Google's using a proprietary system to secure the bands to the watch, and while it's quite a straightforward process, you need to be quite consistent with your technique to switch bands out quickly. The display up front is plenty sharp and nice to look at. While small, the UI's design adheres to the inky blacks of the OLED display. The watch face selection out of the box is quite good, with most watch faces having a very clean and minimal aesthetic. Throw in a custom watch face from Facer or even use maps for navigation, and you can't help but notice large bezels sacrificing crucial surface area for information. It is not quite bright as its competition either, but as display brightness does not scale at a linear rate, this difference, while apparent, may not be as big as it seems. From my experience, it is mostly fine to look at outdoors and more than enough bright for indoor environments. It is protected by Gorilla Glass 5, and while there's no sapphire coating on it, having used this watch for slightly over 5 months, I haven't noticed any scratches or scuff marks yet. Though prioritizing aesthetics over practicality does lead to a huge drawback. Throughout this entire video, you might occasionally see me use the watch with a case. This isn't out of preference, but out of necessity. Courtesy of Google's design choice, the significant curvature of the glass on the watch makes repairs nearly impossible. So if your display happens to get scratched, or worse, gets cracked, you're essentially left to fend for yourself. That is unless you have purchased Google's warranty, which at the time of filming is only available in 3 countries. Considering that this is from a company that released the Pixel 8 Pro, a device that happens to be one of the easily repairable phones released in the past year, this approach with the Pixel Watch 2 is a bit controversial. In a world with mechanical and digital bezels, Google has opted to go for a more conventional approach of using a crown to interact with the UI. While the haptics of the watch try to create a very reminiscing and nearly accurate experience during rotation, for our outdoor enthusiasts, the challenge lies in maneuvering it with gloved hands, serving a touch of adventure in pursuit of time. The speakers on the Watch 2 are not the best but get the job done. The onboard mic is quite good, and while people on the other end had no problems hearing me, I feel the watch body is just too small, resulting in the audio on my end, while audible, sounding quite distorted. The watch is powered by the Qualcomm W5 Gen 1 chip, and performance overall has been rock solid. The complementing software experience via Google's WearOS Support is just an icing on the cake. You swipe down to access your quick settings, swipe up to view notifications, and swipe right or left to access various styles. Tapping the button on the 2 o'clock position once helps you access your recent apps, tapping twice launches the last app used, and holding it leads you to Google Assistant. And the one on the 3 o'clock helps you access your app list or leads you back home. From the simple pairing process to the ease of syncing routines, alarms, and various settings while daily driving it, using the Pixel Watch 2 has been a breeze to say the least. Opening and closing apps, typing, or using voice transcription to reply to text, interacting with Assistant, or heck even watching YouTube videos at 1080p on this tiny display works just fine. The app selection is quite expansive and is mostly fine for my usage of WhatsApp and Outlook. though it lacks other messaging clients like Signal and Telegram, or even music streaming apps such as Apple Music and Tidal. The Watch 2 is set to receive up to 3 years of OS updates, but I'm honestly unsure about the quality and consistency of them. WearOS support in the past has usually been quite limited. In fact, Mobboy's Ticwatch Pro 3 recently received WearOS 3, an update that was announced in late 2022. In terms of fitness features, the Pixel Watch 2 has gone through an overall revamp, making the Fitbit integration tighter than ever. With the newly added skin temperature, electrodermal activity, and much improved heart rate sensors, the Watch 2 is able to identify signs of positive and negative stress. Anytime the watch notices a fluctuation, it pings you to log your mood in the moment and can help you keep track of your mental well-being. Or at least, in theory. Since I prefer to turn off the vibration and notification sounds on my watch, by the time that I end up checking that prompt, I usually forget what my mood was at that time. Also, thanks to these updated sensors, the Watch 2 tracks your heart rate not just once every few minutes or even each minute, rather every second. This means you get a lot more precise information presented in a detailed zone-categorized format, which is especially useful during intense or dynamic workouts, where it helps you maintain a steady pace all in real time. It can auto-track 7 different workouts and prompt you to initiate the dedicated workout mode around the 10-minute mark. If workout mode is initiated, it will include a backlog of the previous 10 minutes of the workout. The watch can also measure your breathing rate, heart rate variability, oxygen saturation, and ECG, the last one being limited to US only, and provide you with an easy-to-glance summary about these metrics in the Fitbit app. To be honest, I'm not even sure why the Google Fit app even exists at this point, as Fitbit just has a far superior UI, and on top of that, has exclusive access to the background heart rate tracking. Luckily, you can uninstall Google Fit from the watch if you like. Alongside an IP68 rating, the watch is given a 5-atmosphere certification of up to 50 meters underwater, which leads to more durability for swimming or other water-related sports. While the Watch 2 is quite good for fitness tracking, I found it to be quite lacking for some workout types. Not so much in the tracking part of it, but more so in displaying the right stats for the right sessions. In those cases, it tends to provide me with a more general layout. Not to mention, since quite a few workouts and sports don't have dedicated modes, I have to categorize them as a generic workout or sport instead. And even for the ones that do exist, like strength training for instance, the watch can't auto-track reps, a feature that used to be present on earlier versions of Google Fit. Swimming is another such sport whereby the watch just displays the time elapsed and won't show any stats until the workout is over, and even then, the provided information is quite limited. These are some aspects that appear to be quite minor but prompt users to forage the Play Store for third-party apps. Not to mention that you can find native support for these workout modes on quite a few smartwatches today. The watch also provides you with detailed insights on your sleep and gives you a sleep quality score out of 100, so you can further hone the craft of sleeping like a bear. I don't even know why I make these jokes at this point. While I can't attest to the accuracy of these sensors given my lack of scientific expertise, in the reviews of the Quantified Scientist and DC Rainmaker, the Pixel Watch 2 performed consistently well, surpassing the likes of most, if not all of its competition. The tighter integration with Fitbit also adds a paywall to the Pixel Watch in the form of Fitbit Premium. While you do get a free trial of 6 months, once over, it's a subscription worth $9.99 a month. Thankfully, all the features of the watch I've mentioned so far are available in the free tier, which is roughly 90% of the entire package, including the entire record of all your previously stored data, which was rumored to be locked behind Premium. As for the ones that aren't, they don't significantly alter the core user experience that the watch has to offer. After all the fitness features I mentioned so far, one would expect the Pixel Watch 2's battery to not last that long. After all, the Watch 1's didn't either. Well, I'd say things have taken a turn for the better. With the always-on display and lift to wake enabled and using bedtime mode at night, which turns off the display unless prompted, I get a full day's worth of battery. With always-on display disabled and just lift to wake enabled though, I do get around the end of the second day, needing to charge it before sleep. My usual day includes a half-hour walk in the morning and a half-an-hour intense badminton session in the evening, and suffice to say, the watch gets me through the day just fine. I've also had some workout sessions where I decided to turn on battery saver just to test things out, and from my experience, by the end of the workout session, the watch was just a percentage shy as it was when compared to starting out. To truly put the watch through its paces, a few months ago I decided to partake in a 10-kilometer walk, which turned out to be quite an extended journey due to the event's nature. Despite not being particularly athletic, I managed to cover a staggering 22 kilometers. Throughout a major portion of the walk, the watch stayed on with GPS enabled, faithfully tracking my progress. It eventually ran out of battery on my way back home, lasting about 8 hours. While this might not be relevant to everyone, I thought this might interest those curious about the watch's endurance in extreme scenarios. As far as charging the watch is concerned, the Watch 2 does not support wireless charging. Instead, the watch gets a 4-pin wired charger similar to a few Fitbit watches out there. While this may be a bummer for some, considering the extra cable you have to carry around, this does allow for a lot more heat dissipation. An issue that plagued the Watch 1 to an extent to which Google had to address an update that seems to have increased the charging time by 30 minutes on that watch, just so that it doesn't adversely affect the battery. The Watch 2 on the other hand gets a full charge in 75 minutes, which is quite a long time, but charging this for just about 10 to 15 minutes is usually more than enough for me to get a workout in. All said and done, I feel that the Pixel Watch 2 is a great successor to the original Pixel Watch, and it just goes to show how much Google is willing to take their wearable devices seriously this year. So if you're on the lookout for a watch that exudes elegance while striking a decent enough flare of function and don't mind exercising a bit of caution in handling, the Pixel Watch 2 is definitely worth considering. With that being said, if you loved this video as much as I did making it, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.